Is it different this season, Leo, as opposed to last season? Obviously, you've had a difficult few weeks with losses on the road and the Munster game. This break coming up, is this more welcome now this time than it would be? Or would you prefer to be kind of carrying on the momentum of this confidence builder now today?
Because we just got to deal with what it is, and there's no point preparing what we would actually do. But like I said, we need to have a good reflect about everything that we've done, probably to get us to this point. Is we know we have a sort of a pause. The big thing is what we'll push is guys, senior guys, academy guys that play club rugby next week. Obviously, there's that emerging Ireland game the week after, but there's a AL game round the week after that again. Then there's no game, and then it's back to URC action. So, listen, like we would always do when we get these sort of pause moments. So we'll be in on Monday, Tuesday, and as I said, a lot of guys will go back and train to clubs Thursday, play the weekends, and that's important. I think that they do that and show the right attitude towards that. Which, listen, they will. They'll all be fine, the lads. So, but listen, we need to pause, just review what's happened in the first 5 games. It's very unusual coming off the Lions. Guys going into a little bit cold, going into that South Africa trip. How could we have done things differently? Because clearly we didn't get the desired outcomes that we would like. For the those Lions guys coming back. So if you are coming back around 3 or 4, how do we integrate them? Let's reflect on that. Could we have done things differently? Because listen, we've 2 wins from 5 games. It's not what we would have set out to. That's not what we set out to achieve. So we need to reflect on that and listen. Do I need to do things differently? How I message the group and how we set the group up. So because listen, we're in the middle of the back of the table now, aren't we? So I don't know where we'll sit at the end of the weekend. But listen, we need to just reflect on where we are. Can't do anything about that now. But if we were in that situation again, what we would do differently, and then it's attack what's an exciting block in front of us now, which is we don't have games for the next few weeks, but as I said, the club AAL piece is important, and the next run of games, which is 10 games in a row, which is a mix of URC, of which there's 4 derby games, and the 4 Champions Cup games. So 10 games, Dragons and Edinburgh bookends that block of 10 games, and it's the 8 games in between are, as I said, 4 Champions Cup games and 4 in a pro game. So listen, it's unbelievably exciting. So big thanks again to supporters out there today. Like, they made the atmosphere amazing. See it's how proud the families are in the dressing room there, and seeing 6 guys all at the same time making their debuts. Like, it's very special buzz now. So big thanks to everyone involved. Sorry we couldn't get more positive results probably in the first 3 of the first 4 rounds. So, but we've had 2 good outings at the Aviva, 1 bad outing in Croke Park, and listen, South Africa we've touched on already. So listen, it's a bit of time for reflect now, and how do we get better for this next block of games, because we need to really attack the block of games, what's coming up. But there's a break before that, so bit of reflection time.
And Leo, just when you're tossing like the 2 red cards you saw there, and so what your view overall would be on the 20-minute red card and like the pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, I'm curious now, to get the actual official line, you know what I mean? So there's some of these incidents that happen in a game, like I don't have clarity in my mind. So, but I'll be asking the question as to, from the referee's point, from the both of them. So because they're both very, very different, aren't they? So, Andrew's in the air. Yeah, like he makes contact. Is that a red card? I'm not quite sure, to tell you the truth. So, and the other one, listen, James obviously he's taken a bit of a knock. There's one probably before half time as well, where listen, the Zebre player's knocked out, I think, is he? Looks like a notice tackle, and obviously then they blow for half time. So there's a few things during the game, but listen, I'll ask the question like I normally do, and try and get a bit of clarity. But listen, I know it was a good bit of time spent on the 20-minute red card leading into the season. So listen, I'll find out, try and get clarity. I don't know is the honest answer. So but we'll try and figure it out over the next we've bit of time now to reflect on a few of these incidents that have happened in this first block of games, which has obviously been 5 games.
Sure, and just of the 2 kind of gentlemen to start, obviously you were welcome, especially early on. I think that's some very nice stuff. I'm sure you're happy enough with Law, which is often as well.
Yeah, listen, Hugo's great. He was away with us in South Africa, and again, we talk about the South African trip only not getting positive outcomes really. 1 point. Listen, we were really poor the first week, but one of the positives of the trip is, Hugo's away with the group. Listen, Jerry Kerr was away with the group. And listen, Casper was actually away on that trip last year, wasn't away this year, played some AL games during that period. But listen, all those young guys, listen, they're fronting up well. They're early in the journey of being a professional. And yeah, listen, hopefully they kick on and go well now. So listen, it's just a start for them. But some nice touches from Hugo, yeah. Great, perfect start to the game, isn't it? Line out, hit the middle, take the edge. Harry puts a nice kick in. As I said, Hugo gathers. JJ, first start for Leinster. Another player obviously was away in South Africa as well, but who didn't play. He was called into the trip late because Jamie Osborne pulled out. So every cloud has a silver lining.
Just
Derek, what do you got for us?
Yeah, just the one for me.
How's the main game? You were actually not that focused on Zebre in the press conference. I got the sense yesterday. You're focused on Stu.
Yeah.
How's the game going?
That's what I wanted to ask you about the set piece. I know you're going to tell me Robert Solan, he's a lovely fella and all of that, but I thought he was absolutely outstanding at tight end. He was completely accurate. Although, what you can tell me what you thought. Thought that made a difference to your scrum. So, how did your scrum do? Especially when you were worried about three people who'd not played before on the bench and not so much experience before. The other thing was, in terms of, say, John McKee and Bobby coming in, how did the line-out do and how did the two boys do in terms of what you wanted them to do? That's Gerald Mangan and Bundy.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack from that game now. So, you deal with a bit of disruption at the start because Max obviously was due to start and he pulls it out literally as we're coming off the warm-up. So he gets a bang in his back. You can see him, he's sort of seizing up. So you're making on the hoof. I said, Alex Soroka, be ready to start at 6. Kieran Mangan, be ready to come on to the bench because we'll shift to a 5-3 just because of other things that had happened probably later in the week. Anyway, and obviously you see Fintan Gunn, by the way, ends up on the wing anyway. So it gives you a bit of indication. So, yeah, listen, set piece wise, pretty good. We get caught probably defensively is probably the one on bit. If you're being critical, a drive early, Zebre score from a drive and maul, a couple of things. Obviously, we give away a penalty from a maul, and then they take that quick tap. This is good play by them. Not much our guys can really do. It happened all so quickly. So there's definitely a few bits. But listen, Rabbit's experience there is fantastic. RG coming off the bench between Dearman Mangan and Brian Deeney. Listen, I thought did a pretty good job. Jerry, obviously, first cap, brilliant for him. The bench had 10 minutes of senior rugby between Leinster action between the three of them, which is such an unusual scenario. But they all added, I thought, in different ways. Listen, Bobby would look like he was going to get over from 30 metres there. Great bit of play by him. Alex Usnoff, did some good things in the game, and even Andrew Sparrow coming off the bench. But obviously, Rabba, who you talk about, he brings a lot of experience for us this time of year. So, overall, a lot of positives. But as you'd expect, there's be a few bits that we need to get better as well moving forward.
How does Bobby learn 128 calls, or do you just by definition have to narrow it down to 4 or 2 or something like that?
But that's the group. The lads around him, I think, were very good. You know what I mean? So obviously, Dear Mangan would have been calling the lineouts in the first half, and he went off even for HIA as well. So Brian Deeney came back on. So there's a lot of moving parts during that course of that game. But credit to the players. Listen, they worked hard at it, and that's that's what they can control. You see, that's what they can control is their preparation leading into a game. Bringing the right mindset, dealing with some of the disruptions. Listen, their mindset was great. Making sure they've clarity in the plan and working towards that, and that's what they need to keep delivering. So, as I said, we've got a bit of a break now, where club rugby will take front and centre. Obviously, there's the international piece, but yeah, it's good. Overall, it's a good lesson for guys.
How many plays does Bobby have?
So,
How many throws with Bobby now? Just generally.
how many did he have in the game?
No, like as somebody who's not.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I don't know. We try to keep things simple for the group this week. So, in terms of attack and in terms of set piece, so try to keep things simple. Listen, credit to Robin. And it's always trying to get the balance, isn't it, between messaging and correction. And so you do a Thursday session, and how much do you correct and leave them on. But listen, I thought Robin was fantastic, in terms of how he deals with young players and some of those debutants and young players on top of that. So it's great. Like, it's a great test for the coaches this week, and I thought they were all fantastic. How they set the group up. So listen, I'm personally delighted for that. There's a decent reward, for most importantly for the players, but as I said, all the support staff really listen. They're great days. Seeing 6 new caps, seeing 6 sets of families there in the dressing room, and seeing how much it means to them. So listen, great day.